Time is 6:30 according to the clock on the computer here, so we'll get started with the agenda. Would you please register your attendance by voting yes?
You have 21 present. You have a quorum.
21 present. We do have a quorum. Is there any members of the audience who wish to speak to anything on the agenda?
Steve, we probably
Oh.
well, I think we need to run that notice.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the notice wasn't on here. John, would you go ahead and run the evacuation notice?
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Thank you. If you would notice on your agenda, the first two items appear to be backwards. We need to approve the agenda, which will include the public input. So the chair will stand for a motion to approve the agenda.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we'll be setting the agenda.
Setting the agenda, yes.
So,
Commissioner Carter, is there a second?
second.
Now, any changes? All those in favor of the agenda, please vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. Mr. Crowe, okay. The agenda is set. Now, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak to an item on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent calendar. I don't even have the minutes on here.
Item B.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right. It's under the consent calendar on mine. I don't know who put this. Anyway, we'll approve the minutes first. Chair will stand for a motion to approve the minutes. Commissioner Farmer, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner French. All those in favor vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
If it doesn't come up, abstain.
Commissioner Carter? Commissioner Daly?
You have 20 yeses and 1 abstain.
Minutes are approved. Now let's move to the consent calendar. And I don't know what's on your agenda, but on mine, the first thing is the minutes.
Minutes of the commission.
You can't, okay.
The other one was the agenda committee.
And I didn't have it on my, it wasn't on my, okay, let's move on. Anyway, do I hear a motion to approve the consent calendar, or to send it on, I'm sorry?
Move to forward to full commission for approval.
I have
Is-
something I'd like to say, please, on the consent calendar. Did you see my light? Is my light not on?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Let me get your mic on.
I'm requesting the nomination of the Purchasing Commission and the Budget Committee be removed from the consent calendar and be placed on the full agenda for tonight and the commission meeting both.
Okay, so you want to pull the budget and purchasing out of consent, okay?
That's correct.
That's a commissioner's prerogative. Commissioner French, do you have anything? Your light was on. Commissioner Archer? Okay, you're good. All right. Now, we've removed budget and purchasing. Now, is there a motion to send the consent calendar to the full commission with item 4B and 4C removed? Commissioner French. Now, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Carver. Any further? If you're in favor, vote yes. If you're, yes.
We need to go ahead and nominate, those ad hoc committee members, to send those on to the full commission, if we're gonna leave that on the consent calendar.
Okay. 5 members, okay. Okay, the chair will open during this time for nominations for this ad hoc committee. Are we going to have to recruit? Go ahead, Commissioner Monroe.
Okay, thank you. Are we just on the ad hoc committee at this moment?
We're on 4E, the ad hoc committee to study the amending of existing water
Okay.
quality buffer resolution and related regulations.
I would like to nominate Karen Miller to that committee.
Okay, we have a nomination for Karen Miller,
I second.
second by Commissioner Moon. Chair will stand for another nomination. Let's see, Commissioner Daly. Your light was on. Okay, Commissioner Archer, Commissioner Daly. Okay, we have Commissioner Archer nominates Commissioner Daly,
I'll second.
seconded by Commissioner Monroe. Now, we have room for 5. Is there a third nomination? Did you wish the floor again, Commissioner? Oh.
I was just wanting to talk about another committee.
Okay. Need another nomination for this ad hoc committee. We have to draw straws. Commissioner Miller.
I'd like to nominate Archie.
Commissioner Archer, is there a second? Is there a second?
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Moon.
He doesn't see us over
Okay, number 4.
So I'd like to remove my name from the nomination.
Okay, he withdraws. Commissioner Archer's withdrawn. Commissioner Daly?
off.
Yeah, I'll turn it on if you'll just,
Thank you. I just want to encourage people to do this. I was a member of the Fort Loudon Lake Association, and it has gone kaput due to lack of funds. And this is one thing that they were working on. It's very important.
Commissioner Caskey.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I nominate Brad Bowers.
Mr. Bowers, would you serve if there's a second?
I do not wish to serve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. He declines. Is there a,
Mr.
so far we only have 2. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Farmer.
Mr. Chairman, if no one's wanting to serve on this committee, I've got a suggestion. Let's revert it back to the Planning Commission and let the Planning Commission handle it. That's who handled it before.
That's a good idea.
And I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I have a motion and a second to revert this back to the Planning Commission.
Well, I mean, if we don't have
Commissioner
5
Carter.
commissioners who want to serve on it, then what else you gonna do with it?
That's a good point.
We can sit in here and decline it all night long.
Well, we've had a number of people decline, so the motion on the floor is to send it back, and seconded by Commissioner Carter.
And allow the Planning Commission to serve as the ad hoc committee to study water quality buffer.
Okay, Commissioner Hedrick? To help. Well, now we have a motion to revert it back. Okay, Commissioner French? Pardon me? That's not the motion I heard. He motioned to send it back. Commissioner French? Wait a minute, let me get your line.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I recognize someone to speak to this ad hoc committee to explain what the committee's purpose is going to be? Or,
We have a motion on the floor to send it back to planning.
I
We
wanna
need to deal with that first.
I'd like to address that motion by recognizing
All right. Who you recognize?
Mr. Teague.
Come forth, please, Mr. Teague. Did you have a question for him, Mr. French?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, I would like Mr. Teague to explain the purpose of the ad hoc committee and the reason that we need to appoint and what kind of time frame we're looking at to meet this particular requirement.
Yes.
The motion is to refer back, and if Mr. Teague would like to explain to us why it would be in the best interest of the county to refer it back. I believe that would be in order.
I had John talking to me. One of the problems we're having is the system's set up incorrectly. We're going to have to take a second, take it down, and bring it back up.
Just give me a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Teague, can you tell us why it should or should not be sent back to planning?
Well, to start off, to answer that question, the original resolution that was adopted in 2008 never went before the Planning Commission. It was brought to the full commission. There was discussion back and forth. No decision can be made. TDEC stepped in, gave a presentation, still no decision. And then the full commission at that point in time nominated a ad hoc committee to address the regulations back then in 2008. That consisted of 3 commissioners, a representative from the Little River Watershed Association, and a citizen of the county. That ad hoc committee is what created the existing resolution and then brought that back to the full commission. So there was never, now the Planning Commission may have reviewed the document at some point in time, but they never addressed it and then sent it to the full commission.
Any other questions, Mr.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question for Mr. Teague. Once the ad hoc committee brought it back, how did the full commission vote? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Well, I know what I remember what the final outcome was, but I can't remember all the discussion from the ad hoc to the full commission.
Was the recommendation followed or not followed?
It was followed, but there were some amendments, I believe. But there was amendments to the negative side of it to not meet the state requirements. And there was a civil penalty assessed to the county for that.
Okay. Commissioner Carter?
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner Moon, Chairman, I got that. Commissioner Moon answered the question I was going to ask.
Okay.
So, therefore, yeah.
Commissioner French?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe the reason this thing is on the agenda again was it was on the agenda, I think, last month or month
Correct.
before last.
December.
And it kind of slipped through the cracks. We kind of let it go. And we didn't recommend the ad hoc committee be formed. We did not make any recommendations. So that's the reason it's brought back to this month's agenda, because I think we've got a deadline of May.
That's correct, May
I
of this
believe
year.
in May. But the best I remember, it was on the agenda last month. We just kind of missed the boat.
Commissioner Farmer?
That's sort of my point. We're sitting here, the most familiar people we have with this is the Planning Commission. Well, you can say what you want. I know how it has gone before, Mr. French. Long and short of it is, I don't know who the sponsors of it are, but if the sponsors of the resolution want to step up and serve on it, fine, I could care less. We're sitting here with people turning it down. If we're going to sit here and turn the thing down, send it back and let the Planning Commission do it. I could care less whether we nominate a committee or whether we don't.
Commissioner Stinnett?
Commissioner, thank you. Couple questions. How much the fine was, and if we don't put someone on the committee, who's going to do it? And what's the ratifications, what's the problems with us not doing it?
To answer your first question, the civil penalty was assessed at $10,000. We appealed that in Nashville and got it reduced to $5,000, and they allowed us, instead of paying the state that $5,000, we were allowed to use that on an educational project here in the county. So we got to keep the money more or less in-house, if you want to call it. The second question, there is no ramification if no ad hoc committee is created. That's how the first process went through, so we went that same route. If the planning commission does not get involved, or an ad hoc committee, that would basically be me individually rewriting the current resolution and regulations and then presenting that back to the full commission for approval.
Commissioner Lewis?
Justin, in your opinion, who would be the best person or group to study this and bring it to this group?
Be hard to answer that question. If we have fewer members, that's 5 with an ad hoc committee, less discussion, and I guess maybe possibly of getting more accomplished. Since we do have a deadline around the corner. The planning commission, there's more involvement, more commissioners, it could take longer. So looking from a time frame, ad hoc committee might be the better route to go.
Even though they may not be the most educated?
Well, that's what I was going to say as well. There are some on the planning commission that probably do remember this and have some prior knowledge. So, hard question to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've got a suggestion. Does it necessarily have to be a 5-member committee? We've got 3 people that are willing to serve on the committee. Cannot they serve along with Mr. Teague and serve as the ad hoc committee, come back with a recommendation to the full commission and go from there? My understanding is 4 or 5 years ago, we set a buffer zone of about 5 feet. And since that time, the regulations have changed. And all we need to do is come back with a recommendation that we change our buffer zone to meet the state's requirements. And bottom line, that's all we need to do. So my suggestion is take the 3 people that have been nominated or suggested and have them serve on the committee with Mr. T, come back to the next committee meeting, and we can take care of that.
We still have a motion on the floor to refer it to the Planning Commission for a recommendation. Thank you, Mr.
No.
Oh,
I did not say for a recommendation. For the planning committee to serve
as the committee.
Correct.
Okay, I got that wrong. Commissioner Stinnett?
Thank you, Chairman. Justin, you're not interested in just doing this?
I can. I did that last time, and it was, I got criticized greatly for doing that. So to avoid that, again, another reason we went with the ad hoc committee, that way there's commissioners that have a voice and not just me.
I understand.
But as Commissioner French said, we've got set numbers. It's black and white now. Some of the other text in the resolution can be changed, but the numbers, which is what the commission before last was looking for, we now have those. Those can't be changed. That right there is black and white.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the board is clear, and the motion on the floor is to refer to the Planning Commission to act as the ad hoc committee. That includes Mr. T as well. So the board is clear. If you're in favor of that motion, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
You have 9 yeses and 12 noes.
That motion fails. So we're back on the appointment now. At this point, I have Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Daly, and Commissioner Hedrick volunteered. I need to get him nominated. there's an, okay, is there a second? Okay, so Commissioner Hedrick. We have 3 nominees. Is there a 4th? Commissioner Allen.
No, I was going.
Okay. Commissioner French.
Mr. Chairman, can I amend the resolution or to just nominate the 3 members that have been nominated?
I guess my question for Mr.
Along with
whoever the
Mr.
sponsor is there a law that says it has to be 5? I don't know what the law is.
I don't believe the law.
Pardon me? Or the rule? I mean, the resolution. The resolution says 5, so we need to amend that. Yeah, we're nominating right now, though. Any other nominations? Okay, Commissioner Archer, hold on. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to nominate Commissioner Caskey.
Commissioner Caskey, will you serve, Commissioner Caskey? Sure. Okay. And there is a second, so that's 4. Hold on, Commissioner French.
Nominate Commissioner Cole.
Commissioner Cole, will you serve? And we have a second. So we have the 5. Miller, Daly, Hedrick, Caskey, and Cole.
Move nomination cease, Mr. Chairman. Second.
And seconded. If you are in favor of forwarding these 5 to the full commission, would you vote yes? I'm sorry, yeah. Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Daly, Commissioner Hedrick, Commissioner Caskey, and Commissioner Cole, plus Mr. Teague. Is that clear with everybody? Okay, if you're in favor of sending those to the full commission, please vote yes.
We have 21 yeses.
Okay, those names are forwarded to the full commission. Now we go back to the consent calendar with exception of item B and C. And that's, have we taken a motion on that? Okay, we need a motion on the consent calendar with exception of B and C. Commissioner French, is there a second? Or was it? Commissioner Lewis. Any discussion? If you're in favor of sending the consent calendar forward to the full commission, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. I'm sorry. I didn't see your light. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We only have 2 nominees for the Jail Inspection Committee, so I would like to nominate Nancy McEntee. She is here tonight if anybody has any questions, and her resume is in the packet on the end.
Okay, we have the Ms. McAfee, is that correct?
McEntee, yes.
I'm saying that right.
McEntee, yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Archer. Yes. Okay. I think we had another one somewhere, didn't we? Or did we? Is that all the nominees for the jail inspection then? Yeah. At the end, under information only, is where Ms. McAfee's is. And the other one. I'm sorry, Commissioner Stinnett.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Brad Bryant.
Brad Bryant. Okay. So we have the names of Sharon Hannum, Robert Mathis, Brad Bryant, and what was her first name? Nancy McAfee, if I'm saying that correctly. Okay, those are 4 nominations for that committee. Let's see, Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since there's 4 names and one of these names currently already serves on 2 boards and is being nominated for 2 other boards, if it's in order, I would like to strike Sharon Hannum's name from that because she's already on 2 boards and being nominated for 2 more. We have commissioners up here that don't serve on 4 boards. We've got commissioners up here that only serve on 1 board.
Mr. Chairman, we're nominating, nominations haven't ceased. Discussion on the nominees would be the next logical thing.
Well,
Yeah, the nominations
did
are not
anybody
closed.
actually nominate her? Who put her name in the packet?
I don't know the answer to that.
So somebody would need to formally nominate her. We just nominated 2 people.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Sharon Hannum's name be placed in nomination.
Okay, is there a second? Second. What about Mr. Mathis? Lewis? Is there a nomination for this other name, Robert Mathis? Yes. Where was it? Okay. Okay, Commissioner Melton nominates Mr. Mathis. Second, Mr. Stinnett. Let's see, Commissioner Daly.
I'm having a lot of trouble hearing. I can't hear when Mr. Moon talks at all. So I don't know what's been said. What are we doing?
Yeah, I've announced he nominated Sharon Hannum, and that was seconded by Commissioner Lewis, I believe. So now we have all 4 of the names nominated. Now, do I hear a motion that nominations cease? And second? Second. A voice vote. If you're in favor of nominations cease, say yes. Yes. If you're opposed, no. And nominations cease. Now we can discuss the nominees if you wish to do that. Commissioner French.
Just have one question. Is the jail inspection committee the responsibility of the commission? Okay,
There was some question about whether it was even needed at this point in time, but it is the responsibility of the commission. Commissioner Moon? Oh, okay. Let's see. Commissioner Allen, I see your light. It's on.
Just a quick question. Is Miss McEntee, is she a resident of the county?
Her information is at the end of the packet.
I understand, but it says Greenback, so I just want a clarification. If she's in the audience, I'd like an answer on that.
Oh, here she is. Yes, I am. Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to send all 4 names to the commission.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Was that Mr. Bowers? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Kaler. Now, discussion on sending all 4 names. No discussion, and if you're in favor of sending all 4 names, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
You have 21 yeses.
Okay, 21 yeses. Now, where do you want me to bring up this budget committee? You already got it in there somewhere? Budget and purchasing?
You do that in new business.
Under new business, okay.
Then
We'll make that 8B and 8C. So we're making 8B and 8C will be the budget and purchasing. Next item is budget transfers.
did we vote on the consent calendars already?
Yes. Oh, let's see.
I don't believe we did.
Did we not vote on consent as a whole? I thought we did.
Dealt with the other 2 issues.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, budget transfers.
Vote was 20 yes, 1 abstain.
Let's see. Apparently there are no budget transfers. Well, I thought there was one, but it's not showing up here. Do you have a transfer? Okay. Chair will stand for a motion to bring it on the floor, the budget transfer. Commissioner Lewis, is there a second? Commissioner Carter. Now, is there discussion? You want to tell us about that? Let me get your microphone.
Yes, thank you. This is based on our 6-month estimates at this point. As you know, we are closing out the books monthly. And based on those 6 months estimates, we are projecting that we will need $470,000 less use of fund balance, which is a good thing. And those monies will be, each of these revenue line items that you see here will be increased appropriately.
Okay. You've heard the explanation. Any discussion, any questions? Chair will entertain a motion to move that. I'm sorry, we already had the motion, don't we? Now, if there's no discussion, please vote yes to move this forward. Vote no if you're against it.
The 21 yeses.
That item carries. The next item is a transfer in the library, $8,005.68. Recommended 4-0 in the Budget Committee. Is there a motion to send it forward?
I move we send it forward to full commission.
Commissioner Moon, and is there a second? Commissioner Lewis. Commissioner Moon, you wish the floor?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Library had an early retirement, and this is to make the retirement whole for that person who taking it from an unfilled job. I think I'm correct on that. Is that right, Susan? Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Board is clear. If you're in favor to send this on, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
The 21 yeses.
That item is approved. Next item is drug control, $25,000. Voted for yes on the Budget Committee. Chair will stand for a motion to move it forward. Commissioner French, is there a second? Second. Commissioner Melton. Now, is there discussion? Do you want to explain that?
Yes, this one is very similar to the one that you just approved for General County. This would be for the Drug Control Fund, and again, it is an estimate to use $25,000 less of fund balance than what was originally planned, and that's based on actual revenues that have come in for the first 6 months of the year.
Okay, you've heard the discussion. Is there any further on it? Vote yes if you're in favor of sending it forward, and vote no if you're opposed.
The 21 yeses.
And that item is approved. Are there any budget increases?
There's one.
Where is that? Let me see.
It's FTA, school improvements,
Is this it?
88,000. Other way.
Yeah, I don't, okay. I'm getting there, folks. Let's see. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, the chair will stand for a motion to approve the $88,840 recommended by the Budget Committee. Is there a motion, yes, to approve?
Move, Mr. Chairman, send it forward.
Commissioner Moon, seconded. Commissioner Bowers. Now, any discussion? Commissioner Monroe, let me get the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is architecture professional services. Is this just designs, or is this actual building improvements?
I think architect is always required on the roofing things that we've done in the past. think that's state
We have
law.
to
it's
pay an
required.
architect $88,000, almost $89,000 to design a pre-existing roof?
Commissioner Farmer, do you want to answer that? Go ahead.
It isn't design, it's actually, they handle the bid process as well as the inspection of the finished product. The entire work process that's required by the state.
Okay, do we have an estimate on what it's going to cost to actually fix the roof?
The roofs, it's actually two.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am. The total on all of them combined is in the area, Troy, you may have to help me, in the area of 1.5 million total.
so we approve this first and then they go out and, will it go out for
Well,
bids?
you can't, all you can have is an estimate. It has to be bid.
Okay,
So that's one of the things that the architect actually does, is help you acquire educated estimate. You don't know exactly what it's going to be until it is put out for bid by the purchasing department.
okay. Was the architectural services put out for bid?
No, it was not.
So we just have one company. We don't know whether or not that was the best choice.
Well, I mean, that's the way, it's in accordance with TCA and state law.
Okay, well, I would like to move to send this back so that it can be put out for bid. How do we know that we're getting the best architectural deal? So I put that in the form of a motion. I'll send it back to, I don't know if it needs to go back to the budget committee or if it needs to go back to schools. I'm not sure who the.
You're making a motion to refer, you need to say to who?
Okay, which body should it go back to? Should it go back to the budget committee or back to the schools?
I don't know the answer.
I'll send it back to the budget committee then. Refer it.
Where was that? Commissioner Carter seconds the referral back. The board is clear. If you're in favor of the refer back to the budget committee, vote. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Gaylord. I didn't.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask a question of Commissioner Farmer?
Yes, go ahead.
Could I assume that there is a process that's used where we just didn't arbitrarily say, I'll give you an opportunity to explain the process, please.
The process is, this is the same roofing engineer that has been used for approximately the past 7 or 8 years. Under TCA, what is required is on professional services, if you have an engineer that you have used and are comfortable with, then it is not required that it be bid. Now, this particular individual was actually contracted several years ago, not contracted, contacted when the Public Building Authority was handling the repairs and capital projects for the schools. He already had all of the materials. The last 3 roofs we have done, this is the same engineer who was used. And that is accordance, of course, I see no one here from purchasing, but this is what is required under state purchasing laws.
Commissioner Crowe?
I'm concerned about what would that do to our timeline where we're hoping to have those fixed during the summer? What would that do to the timeline of having those roofs actually fixed in the summer?
It would delay it. Is that a simple enough answer?
Meaning it would be hard to get in the summer?
If not impossible.
Okay. Commissioner Allen, did you wish the floor?
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I'm not 100% sure on this case, but in the municipalities, it's actually against the law to bid out professional engineering services. So they can't, I'm not 100% on this one, but in a municipality, they cannot bid engineering services out to make this done because these people are acting as an owner's rep. They're not performing They're not performing an act, they're acting as an owner's rep. So it may be in not your best interest to get the cheapest person to act as this owner's rep. So before we send it to bid it out, we need to make sure that it's legal to do that.
Yes. Commissioner Farmer?
That's what I meant when I said it's being done in accordance with TCA.
Okay, the motion, Commissioner Monroe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As usual, we're at a point where we're told we've got to do it, or it's the end of the road, and chaos will ensue if we don't get it done and get it done yesterday. Now, it may be that that's what the law is, and if so, we don't have to send it out. But, you know, we've had a lot of roofing problems. Maybe we ought to think about who we're using and what we're doing. Now, I don't know that this engineer or this architect is to blame for anything, and I'm not saying that he or she is. But could we at least examine it? They don't have to put it out for bid. I'll amend my motion. It can either be to put it out for bid or to look at other services, other possibilities.
Are you withdrawing your motion?
No, I just want to amend my motion, put it in form. It can go for whether if it can't be for bid, then we could look at other services.
Motion on the floor is referred back to.
Yeah, we do.
Well, okay, we'll just I made it clarified a while ago, but I'll still just want to send it back to the Budget Committee to see if there's anything else that can be done. If not, fine.
Okay, Commissioner Carver?
I'd like to recognize Wanda. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I do still win.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Is this on?
Well, according to this, it was. Try
There we
it
go.
now.
So the engineer that we've used in the past has done a good job. He has all the material, the information now to move forward with it. And then this would delay us. We're meeting all the requirements by the state, by TCA. And from what I understand from you is that it may be illegal to put it out to bid. If we've been satisfied with the people in the past, if we're going to delay things, these roofs are in some pretty rough shape, if I understand it. We need to take that into consideration also. The further damage that could happen with the weather that's, with what's happening right now. So thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Akerd?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It does seem like an exorbitantly large amount of money to re-engineer an existing spray-on urethane roof. Having dealt with spray-on urethane roofs myself, it would appear that nearly $90,000 is a very significant portion of the cost of replacing the spray-on urethane roof. So the request, the amendment, the motion before us to send it back to consider other options doesn't seem out of line with the magnitude of the number that we're looking at here and the fact that we should already have all the load calculations of the roof from its original design, and the weight calculations of a spray-on urethane roof are pretty easy to obtain as well. I don't understand why there's not a decimal point wrong here, actually. Why it couldn't be done for less than $10,000. But it surely should be examined to see if there are other options, whether we do a formal bid process, which may be against the law, but making some telephone calls to some qualified architects is not going to be illegal. I'm sure of that. Thank you.
Commissioner Farmer?
Well, first of all, it's not one spray urethane roof. It is replacement of 2 spray roofs with rubberized. Also, if you look at what's contained in the packet, it is determining condition of existing, what must be done to meet state requirements. It is the bid and construction documents and package required by the state. It is also the bidding phase, which they are involved in with the contractors, as well as the inspection of the final construction phase. So we're talking about 2 roofs, not 1. We're not replacing a spray urethane with a spray urethane, nor are we spraying over the top of it.
Let's see, Commissioner Akers.
So we've already determined then what we're going to do before we're talking to the architect to tell us what to do? Because that's what you just said. The square footage of the roofs in question is in the documents that we've been provided. One of the roofs is 53,018 square feet, and the other one is 58,800 square feet. I'm not real sure that everyone here is aware of how small that is for the amount of money that we're talking about. My building's only 20,000 square feet, so it's considerably smaller than this. But my architectural fees to examine replacing my roof were a tiny fraction of what we're talking about here. And we owe it to our tax-paying citizens to at least be sure that we're not just handing somebody a bunch of money because they handed him a bunch of money last time. That's, I think, the point of sending it back to explore other options. Again, thank you.
The board is clear. I'm sorry, Commissioner Lewis.
As a member of the Budget Committee, I guess the only thing I would say is if this is going to be referred back, the Budget Committee has none of this information. If you're going to refer it back at all, it should be referred back to the school system, because all you're going to do is delay it even further, because the Budget Committee has nothing to do but send it back and request that information. So you're just adding an additional step at this point if you put it back to the Budget Committee. Thank you.
The board is clear, and the motion on the floor is to refer it to the Budget Committee. Duly seconded. If you are in favor of referring back to the Budget Committee, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Moon.
Yeah, 5 yeses and 16 noes.
And the motion to refer is defeated. Commissioner Akers.
I'd like to make a motion that we send this back to the schools for further consideration of options for the architectural analysis.
Where was that? Second, Commissioner Monroe. The motion is to refer back to the school department. Commissioner Allen.
Yeah, I'd like to read the instructions on bidding architectural services. I happen to find them here. Contracts for services in general contracts.
Mr. Chairman, I request unanimous consent to allow the member to read.
Unless there's objection, go ahead.
Contracts which are for the performance of services requiring scientific knowledge and professional skill are not considered the performance of public construction or public work, and so do not need to be competitively bid. The general test to be applied in determining the work, whether it's considered services and exempt from bidding requirements, and whether it is impossible or impractical to draw specifications for the task identified in the contract. Examples of services exempt from competitive bidding include architectural services.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Farmer.
same scenario, you know, wanting to refer it back, the contract's been approved by the school board, it'd be a waste. You can vote how you choose, but I don't see any reason to send it back.
Commissioner Aker?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wasn't questioning whether or not it was a legal requirement for us to seek other options. I was wanting us to seek other options to try to save our taxpayers some money. There may be other options out there, and for all of those folks that think that because it got passed along to this board, we need to automatically assume that it's right and just vote yes, I don't believe we're doing our job. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Lewis?
Yes, I just, for Mr. Britt and Mr. Logan, if either of you all have any input or that would help this decision.
I'm not sure I do, Commissioner Lewis, but I'll add a couple of things. The board has approved both of these projects, and they have approved a contract with this architect for these fees. The plan or the idea is, of course, once the commission approves, if the commission approves this, the next step would be to get the purchasing department to help us put the actual construction phase of the roofs out for bid. And then we'll have a dollar amount from that bid, which then we have to take to the school board for their approval for the award of a bid. And they'll have to request funding to actually do the construction phase of those projects. So we'll have to come back to the commission to request funding through our fund balance or some other source from the schools to actually do the roofs. So we've got to get that in order to get start the roofing project right after the kids are done with school in late May, to assure that we get those projects done before school starts when the kids come back on July 29th or something like that. So that's the timeline anyway. I don't know if that answers your question, but.
You talk about the funding for the actual project itself. Is there enough money in your fund balance to be able to complete that project?
Well, we'll have to ask for funding to come out of use of fund balance out of this year. The thought is that the original plan was to use the new sales tax monies next year, that we were going to use that money for that capital project. And my understanding of what we're doing is we can't wait till July 1 till that money comes in to start that project, to get it done before school starts. So I'm not sure it's the right terminology. We're going to use fund balance right now, but the thought is to put back into fund balance with those new sales tax dollars next year.
And would that take us down below our limit?
No, sir.
Okay.
Commissioner Cole?
Just a quick question. When is the last time the board has looked at other architectural firms? Do you know?
When we built the last two schools, I think we had a different architect on those projects. That was Prospect Elementary School was the last school we built 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Thank you.
Commissioner Aker?
Yes, sir. I had a question. Commissioner Farmer has, at least I believe from hearing his comments earlier, that we've decided what type of roof that we're going to be putting up, and it's not another urethane roof. Do we know what we're putting up?
I can't answer that. I don't know exactly, because I'm not a roofing person. I don't know.
I understand. Do we know if this architectural firm was the architect that designed this building originally, to where they have all these calculations already done for the load-bearing members of the building or anything like that? Do we know that?
Well, I don't think this architect designed the building when it was first built. My understanding is when several years ago we were looking at replacing these roofs, and this architect did some drawings and did some work in preparation for that. Am I correct, Commissioner Farmer, on that? So that's my understanding, that he did some work on these two roofs, planning for roof replacement a few years ago.
Planning for this roof replacement or the
No.
urethane roof that's on there now?
No, to replace these roofs, which did not get those projects didn't get approved then.
All right, thank you, sir.
Commissioner Moon.
Mr. Chairman, in the interest of time, I'm sure all the members have looked at page 49 of the packet that gives a scope of work, items A through M. I'm sure everyone has looked at that. It spells out. Unfortunately, public sector doesn't have the same luxury that the private sector has. The General Assembly meets, the General Assembly passes statutes, and it is burdensome on counties and cities to carry them out, but for many reasons that's come about. So, like I say, the scope of work, page 49, and I'm sure the members have looked at that and reviewed it. So in the interest of time, I just thought I'd offer that up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Monroe.
I had a question for Mr. Logan. Did you say that the school board's already approved this?
They have approved the project. It's been in discussions for a while, since we've talked about a lot of capital projects, and they have approved this contract with this architect. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, why does it say pending Board of Education approval? Do they have to approve it twice?
Well, they have to approve this budget amendment. I inadvertently did not put the budget amendment with the contract approval on the board agenda last month, but the board approved the contract without dates. It's not dated until funding is approved for the contract.
Commissioner Caskey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is my understanding that we have another elected body, the school board, that looked at this very closely. I believe they have the expertise in this area. I believe that Mr. Farmer has looked at this very closely. And at some point, we have to trust their judgment on this. We have another elected body simply asking us to approve this for them. It's not going to cost the county any more money. The funding is coming from fund balance, and I think we need to just move on here.
The board is clear. The motion on the floor is to refer to the school board this time. So if you are in favor of referring this back to the school department, vote yes. If you are opposed to referring it back, vote no. Mr. Carver, there we go.
5 yeses and 15 noes and 1 abstain.
That item fails. Commissioner Moon?
Sorry.
Okay. We are back on the original motion, which is to refer this item forward to the full commission. If you are in favor of it going forward to the full commission, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. That item is approved, or goes forward to the full commission. Next item is F4, if I'm back on the agenda correctly. Resolution by Blount County pursuant to Tennessee Code, Section 5410-216, to close and vacate the roadbed right-of-way of Tommy Baker Road, a county-maintained road located in Blount County. Motion by Commissioner Farmer to forward. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Allen. The board is clear. If you're in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote. Commissioner Carter, do you wish to vote? That item is approved. The next item is a resolution classifying the road list, which we do every year. Do I hear a motion to send it forward? Commissioner Moon moves. Is there a second? Second, Commissioner Hedrick. Board is clear. If you're in favor of sending this forward, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. I did not make the motion. I'm not listed as motion maker. That was Commissioner Moon that made the motion. And Commissioner Hedrick seconded. Okay, he'll get it. Okay, hang on. Commissioner Monroe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Since we're classifying roads and we're closing this road, shouldn't we take the name off of the road that's being closed?
It's not been closed yet.
So should we wait for
After it's passed.
Should we wait for 1 month on the road thing, or are we going to have to re-update the roads?
That's something that needs to be done this month. The road classification. Be a quick answer on that.
I believe in the law it refers to setting this up in January.
I know we've always done it in January. That's what I was thinking. I think it has to be done in January. And then we can remove that road.
And once you take action to close the road, it actually comes off the list. If you look, the listing is basically includes all previous actions. So at the end, basically what I'm doing is consolidating each year what happened last year. If you close a road during the middle of the year, it is off the list.
You do that?
Yeah, the highway department keeps the tally. You all vote on it. Goes to Mr. Crawford's office as a record. And the PDF you've got in there is the compilation of that.
Thank you. The motion is to refer this to the full commission or send it forward. If you're, pardon me? Another question somewhere? Okay. Okay, now.
When you say it's off the list, I need explanation because I don't understand.
It basically becomes back to private property, right?
I mean,
it comes off the road list.
So then, I guess the better question would be, when it comes off the list, how long does it take to get back on the list?
Well, in this particular case, we're talking about what amounts to a gravel driveway. We don't ever want it back on the list.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, it was something that got added to the list back in something like 75.
Okay.
And we've got an opportunity to get rid of it. It's basically a house cleaning thing. And what the list is it's, by state law, the highway department is not allowed to work on a road that is not on this list. And this basically gives us permission to work on these roads, is what we're talking about.
Thank you.
Okay, the board is clear. Vote yes if you want to move this on to the full commission, and vote no if you're opposed. Please vote. Thank you, Jeff.
21 yeses.
That item moves forward. Next item is to amend the rules regulating procedures of the Blount County Board of Commissioners. Chair will entertain a motion to send this to the full commission. Commissioner Allen, are you wanting to make that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. After reviewing this resolution, I feel it's a step in the
Let me
right
get it on the
direction.
floor. I need to get it on the floor first.
I'm making a motion.
Okay.
To
Second, Commissioner Moon. Now, go ahead, Commissioner Allen. Okay, all right, thank you. Any further discussion? The board is clear. If you're in favor of sending this to the full commission, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no.
And 19 yeses and 2 noes.
That item moves to the full commission. Next item on the agenda is item 7A, resolution to amend the zoning resolution by adding a new RAC 2, Rural Arterial Commercial District 2. Commissioner Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to forward Resolution F7A, adding the new RAC zone to public hearing on February 10th at 6 p.m. in room 430 of the courthouse.
February 10th, 6 p.m. for the public hearing, forwarding this recommendation to the full commission. Is there a second to that? Commissioner Carter. Board is clear. If you're in favor of that, vote sending that forward, and on February 10th at 6 p.m., setting the public hearing, vote yes.
And 21 yeses.
That item is approved. Next item is item 7B, a resolution to amend zoning resolution, section 7.18.5B4, clarifying responsibility required for improvements for a deceleration lane in relation to a campground or RV park. Commissioner Farmer.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we send items 7B through G back to planning so some of these can be consolidated.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to send items 7B, C, D, E, F, and G back to planning for possible consolidation of some of these items, I assume to reduce the number of public hearings.
Yes, sir, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the reasoning and the logic behind bringing these individually, I understand. I spoke, I believe, with the Vice Chairman Caldwell of Planning. I think the Board of Commissioners see that logic, but it'd be very helpful. It would tie up our public hearing time up until April, taking these individually. And the reasoning of this motion is to delay 1 month and have you go back and see if we can put 2 or 3 of these together in one resolution and bring them back possibly in 2 instead of 6 or 3. It would be of help to the commission. Mr. Lamb, if you'd like to come forward, I'd be glad to have your input.
Come on up, Mr. Lamb.
Just so all the members will have the benefit of the reasoning behind that. There's been in the past situations where we've come with multiple amendments in the same resolution, and one of the parts of that resolution would be objectionable to the membership, and the whole thing would be sent back. So that's why it's coming as separate. In addition, these came as separate recommendations or separate concerns from individual members here and from the public. And I wanted to give them each an identity of their own because it came from individual members. Third, if you're going to send it back to the Planning Commission, please give us some indication of which ones you want to consolidate. Otherwise, we'll be sending back something that we're not sure of again. I mean, it's not going to really be a problem doing that because it will just delay it month to month. This is something that's already been passed. These are amendments to something that's already been passed. But we're getting to a building season very shortly, and I'm not sure. Fourthly on that, you mentioned that it would be going into April before we would get all the public hearings done. You can do all the public hearings on the same day. I'm not sure you cannot.
We can, but I don't want to bring this body in here for an hour and a half and have them tied up to have open a public hearing and close a public hearing with no comment, and then bring them back 15 minutes later 7 times. I don't think that's fair.
Could I suggest something then? That you start the public hearing as a sequence of public hearings. that it start at 6, and then you just do each one of them in sequence afterwards. In other words, you could approve each one of these as setting a public hearing starting at 6, and then have them done serially.
That's real easy to say, Mr. Lamb, except for one thing. If one of them runs over, then it's lost. We have to start all over. I don't agree with you at all. And if you want a suggestion, I'll give you one. 718 5B4, 718 5J, 718 2C, 718 2B.
Could you give me the A, B, C, and D that you'd like to combine? I'm trying to follow that.
I'm giving you a suggestion. I'm not telling you to combine anything. You asked for a suggestion.
Yes.
I'm giving you one. The majority of these are all on the same thing.
Yes.
But obviously, G, E, D, C, B, they're all 718.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is something that we've just dealt with recently. I see no problem with combining them.
So basically combine all of them and bring them back?
You asked for it, so I gave you my suggestion.
Basically combine all of them and bring them back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the board is clear, and you've heard the motion. Commissioner Daly.
I just want to say that, to me, this just clarified everything, and that you did a good job.
Okay. Can you state the pending motion? Oh, you were in the, well, would you restate your motion? I'm afraid I'll get it wrong if I try to do it.
Motion is that we refer back
to the planning,
items 7B
through G. And then they bring it back
They can do whatever
consolidated as they see
like.
fit. Does everybody understand it? Okay. If you're in favor of that motion, vote yes. If you're opposed, vote no. That item is approved, that motion is approved, so those will go back to planning. Item number 8, a resolution to approve amendments to the subdivision regulations relating to rules, regulations, specification for private easements. The chair will stand for a motion. Commissioner French, is there a second? Commissioner Stinnett. Now, is there discussion? Commissioner Allen?
Yes, coming from the Board of Zoning, I wanted to speak about this. So everybody's clear, we're talking about, in most cases, a gravel driveway. And a gravel driveway's typical easement's 25 feet. So this is an easement going through somebody's property, a maximum of 4 properties on this easement. So the easement's 25 feet, and then we're wanting to add 20 feet to each side of that. Just so everybody's clear, they're talking about taking 65-foot swaths through somebody's property that you cannot build on. So private property acts do not like this.
Okay, the board is clear. Commissioner Stinnett?
Yes, I would like to ask Mr. Lamb, is this an example of Parks Ferry, the new development there, where we've got 2 gravel roads where they're going to build 4 houses, and they'll be able to build 4 more houses in the next year and the next year? Is this the same situation here?
Need to get you where you can be on the tape.
Well, I'm not sure of the exact situation that you're talking about, but if it's a gravel drive, then yes, it is a private gravel drive. In the county subdivision regulations, we allow up to 4 lots maximum exclusively off a common driveway easement. In the past, we have not had consistent application of setbacks from that easement. So this is where you have an easement that's a drive, and you're requiring then a 20-foot setback for a house. Now, it's not all construction. Anything less than 30 inches high is not even regulated, so you can put a fence, you can put, bird bath or whatever else in there, so it's not all construction. But this is for the principal structure, basically, or for a garage or something like that. So this is just to get some consistency going in our regulations. I understand the argument, if it goes through a property and you have 20 feet on either side, then you are getting a limitation on where you can have a building. But the idea there is that you're sharing an easement for somebody else to go across you to get to the back. Do you want to have a house that close to a gravel drive, either side of that? So that's what we're talking about.
Mr. Lamb, since you're here, what is the setback requirements now of the 25-foot easement of a gravel driveway?
We've been applying 30 feet, but like I say, it's been inconsistent. We had discussed in the Planning Commission 10 feet, but several of the planning commissioners felt that that was still too close to a gravel drive. A gravel drive generates quite a bit of noise when a vehicle goes across it. The closer you have a house or something like that that can actually hear that or the people in the house can hear that, the more impact it would have. So this is just to get it off the gravel drive.
I understand what it's for, but it's my understanding there is no setback requirements for a gravel drive easement right now.
Like I say, it's been inconsistent and been up to interpretation, but one of the interpretations is 30 feet. And this is just to make it consistent and applicable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if our property owner grants an easement for someone to put a gravel drive across their property, this new rule would now make that they couldn't build on their own property within 20 feet of the road that they just allowed someone to build on their property. Is that what we're getting ready to do?
No, if you got an existing situation and you've got a person in the back that already has frontage somewhere and you're granting him an easement of convenience, this does not apply. This applies to the division of land. If a subdivision plat comes through that divides the property and you're putting a gravel drive or an easement, 25-foot easement in, this requires that on that plat a 20-foot setback be shown off of that easement. So it's not a matter of you granting an easement to an existing property. It's a matter of you coming in with a subdivision plat and meeting this standard. So it's not retroactive to any other drive that doesn't have that. It is only for drives that are coming in to be divided with an easement of access.
So we permit subdivision construction with gravel streets?
Yes. It's not streets, it's a common driveway. Common driveway.
All right.
We actually allow gravel roads for 5-acre tracts.
All right, thank you very much.
Another question for Mr. Lamb. You referenced a minute ago that it was unclear and that the figure appeared to be 30 feet.
Yes.
Have we enforced that 30-foot setback ever? Maybe ever's a little strong.
We were when it was coming through as a subdivision plat. I can't speak to when somebody comes in for a building permit and it's not on a plat. In fact, we have provisions in the zoning regulations. If there is no setback shown, then basically there's no setback there. So if they come in for a building permit on an older lot, then it would be whatever Roger Fields could interpret from the situation as to what the setback would be. And in the past, he has not been applying any setbacks in those situations. However, when it comes through with a division of new land, like you have a 10-acre tract and you're going to make 4 lots out of it and you're going to have a common driveway serving them, then we haven't had a consistent application of a setback for the division of land itself.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Cole?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is kind of new, so the question I have is, if you're going to put in a driveway and it's along a fence, the property boundary, are you requiring now with this to stay 20 foot off of that boundary?
No.
Only if there's a structure going to be built?
In a case where it's going along the edge of the property, it would only be on one side because you can't put it onto another property. That other property already has a benefit of being there before you had the division.
Oh, did you turn it off?
to be 20 feet off of the property line, or can they?
No, the driveway could be within the 25-foot easement.
Board is clear. Thank you, Mr. Lamb. I don't have any lights showing, so I think that's everybody. Ready for the vote? Okay, if you're in favor of sending this forward to the full commission, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
And 9 yeses and 12 noes.
That item fails and will not go forward. The next item is moved from the consent calendar, and that is item B, which is nomination of the Budget Committee, and the mayor's nominees are Mike Lewis, Jerome Moon, Thomas Cole, and Sharon Hannum.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I make a motion, we send this
Let me get your mic.
forward to item D on the full commission meeting. Item D is confirmations, elections, appointments, and confirmations.
Okay.
And I move that we send these forward to item D on the full commission agenda.
Motion is to send these to item D on the full commission agenda, which is elections, appointments, and confirmations, and not consent. Second was Commissioner Carter. The board is clear. If you are in favor of that motion, vote. I'm sorry, Commissioner Monroe. Let me get the mic on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight we have before us someone who's being nominated or renominated for 3 bodies. If approved for all 3, that will mean that this board approves of her serving on 4 bodies. We have commissioners who currently only serve on 1 body, and others whose second body is one that rarely meets or has little power for meaningful reform. We need to ask ourselves, why are we discriminating against the voters like this? They elected new leadership. We should listen. The nominations for the Budget Committee and the Purchasing Commission are the same 4 people. Last month, we only had 1 bid for the purchase of a commercial washer and dryer to be installed at the animal shelter. 2 business owners in my district have complained to me about how difficult it is for them to find out about the purchasing needs of Blount County and to participate in the purchasing process. Another constituent, who is a purchasing agent for a large global company, shared a concern he had with me about our purchasing protocols. Rarely are questions asked during the purchasing portion of the agenda, and often the packet says for information only. In light of these concerns, now is a good time to separate the Budget Committee and the Purchasing Commission. Therefore, I move that we send it back to the mayor for 4 separate nominations for the Budget Committee and 4 separate for the Purchasing Commission. Thank you.
We have a motion to refer back. Is there a second? I'm sorry, I don't have my. That was Commissioner Aker. Do you wish the floor, Mr.? Okay. The board is clear on the motion to refer back to the mayor. If you are in favor of that, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no.
You have 10 yeses and 11 noes.
10 yes, 11 noes. That item fails. We're back on the original motion. The board is clear. If you're in favor of sending that to the elections and confirmations portion of the agenda, vote yes, the 4 nominees of the mayor. If you're opposed, vote no.
You have 13 yeses, 6 noes, and 2 abstain.
That item is approved and goes forward to the full commission. The next item is the Purchasing Commission. The nominations of the mayor are Mike Lewis, Jerome Moon, Thomas Cole, and Sharon Hannum. Chair will entertain any motions. To move to moved to the commission meeting, do you want it to go to that same place on the agenda? Elections and confirmations that we sent the budget committee? Okay, is that okay with you? Okay, the motion is by Commissioner Carver, second by Commissioner Melton. The board is clear. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no. Please vote.
You have 14 yeses and 5 noes.
That item is approved and goes to the same place on the agenda as the Budget Committee, which is elections and confirmations, and I'm looking for my announcements that Ms. Rhonda gave me and I've misplaced. I think the only announcement on there was the commission meeting is next Thursday night, and the Education Committee, when's that meeting, Commissioner?
Committee will meet at Heritage High School at noon, and I'd just like to remind new members of the committee, because all of you are new except one of us, that if inclement weather forces the county to close their offices or forces the schools to close, then the Education Committee will automatically be canceled, and it will meet the following month. I'll set a date for the following month. But if county offices are closed or the schools are closed, it automatically we follow the edicts of the county or the school board.
Commissioner, what day is that meeting on?
Thursday. That's Thursday.
Okay.
Yes, this coming Thursday.
Commissioner Monroe?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would encourage the members of this body to look into the tax status of your nominations for the Budget Committee. We very well could have had someone that was delinquent 9 times on 9 tax bills that was just nominated tonight. So I would encourage the commissioners to do their homework before they vote yes to put someone who may not have paid her property taxes on time in charge of a $165 million budget, and also who has the authority to vote on setting the tax rate. Thank you.
Commissioner Daly?
Yes, I have something I want to, I can't get close enough here. This is hard for me to say, but I think it needs to be said, and this is a good time. Not very many people here. We have an elected official who has made 2 verbal attacks on a commissioner because that commissioner chooses to rent instead of buy a home. This elected official said they even talked to this commissioner's landlord. Some of you may be aware of this. I heard these complaints over and over during the election. I have tried myself to talk to this person, but apparently it did no good. This is very embarrassing for our county and for all of us. I also want to state my feelings about none of the women on this commission being appointed to the Budget or Purchasing Committee, especially when 2 of the women on this commission have paid off their houses and are debt-free. So we do know how to handle money. I think the taxpayers deserve to have people on these committees and commissions that do a good job with their own money. Thank you.
Yes. I have something that I want to put on.
I think it's,
Turn your
go ahead. Get Mr. Carter first.
Okay. I want something put on the agenda, whether it be next month or regardless of when it is. I would like to have Tennessee Code annotated 5-9.1 .109 reinstated. I don't want it ignored or left out, whether it be from the fiscal year July 1, 2015, ending June the 30th, 2016, or whether it be 2016 to 17. It still needs to be in there. And if you don't know what that is for the county legislative body of the governing body of each county may appropriate funds for the financial aid of any nonprofit charitable organization. And I believe that should be on the agenda. That's it.
One of our commissioners has made a statement about a person being nominated by the mayor and has made some very derogatory, exactly, statements about this person. A tax scoffle, meaning one who mocks and ridicules the law, a contemptuous law violator. This is a citizen of Blount County and deserves the respect of us, the servants of Blount County, and to not be called that. And to be called a puppet on a string. Here's a person who, whatever in their life, has had to go through challenges and make it through. If she's paid her property taxes and haven't paid, if she was behind, I don't know what her life was. None of us knows the challenge of each and every one of us. But to sit there and talk down to a citizen of Blount County, a puppet on a string, almost like she's doing something just to get favoritism. This lady has given a lot of different areas of her life to other people and to help them to become better people, to achieve things. You know, not that I really know her that well. I know that we lived on the same street when I was just a toddler. My brother and sister probably played with her when we were, during that time frame. But this lady has done so much for this community that we do not have the right to talk down about any citizen of Blount County. And I don't think that's a very good way for a commissioner to sit there and call her a contemptuous law violator. When this person in a meeting, let's see, what was that meeting time? April of 2014, stated, let me just be sure I say this right, I will absolutely take a chainsaw and massacre the budget. So an indiscriminate and brutal slaughter, butcher, kill, murder, annihilate, an act of complete destruction.
Commissioner Carver, please conclude, come to order. Commissioner Archer.
It's my impression that this is a fine woman. She's got an excellent resume and I think has done a great deal of service to the community. I don't believe anybody challenges that. What I would challenge, and what I think we should all consider, is it's pretty evident she can't manage her own personal budget. If she can't manage her own personal budget, how can she be expected to manage a county budget? That, I believe, is the case in point, and the point we should all consider. We're not degrading the individual. She's, I'm sure, a fine lady. I have never met her. I don't know her. But her resume speaks for itself. What we have to consider, is this a person we want on a budget committee that's going to make decisions for the county? Thank you.
Now, we have moved this to the main agenda. If you have something to discuss regarding these nominations and want to nominate somebody else, then we will do it at the commission meeting. Well, yeah, that's true. Nominations will cease. They will be voted on. If you choose not to have this person, you have the right to vote no. I'm going to call on Commissioner Carter, and then I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Commissioner Carter.
It would behoove me not to say anything.
The board is clear. This meeting is adjourned.